Hi, I'm Will, and welcome to Superhero Sunday on the Movie Files. Alright, so earlier in this week, the trailer for Captain America Civil War dropped, the second trailer, and I believe it'll be the final trailer before release in May. And this trailer gave us our first look at the new Spider-Man. So today, I thought I would take a look at, break down the new Spider-Man costume a little bit, and talk about some of the differences between the new costume and both the Tobey Maguire costume and the two Andrew Garfield costumes, because if you remember, Andrew Garfield had a different costume from Amazing 1 to Amazing 2. So I thought we'd talk a little bit about that and my hopes for the costume. Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today.
The biggest thing about the new Captain America Civil War trailer, the thing that has pretty much broken the internet, is the reveal of the new Spider-Man played by Tom Holland. Now, the reveal is very, very short, right at the very end of the trailer, almost like a little button to the trailer itself. And this is probably all we're going to get of Spider-Man until the actual release of Captain America Civil War in May. Unless, you know, he pops up in promotional materials, toys, things of that nature. But already, the costume is very, very different than anything we've seen before in a cinematic Spider-Man. Now, the eyes is the first thing that really draws the attention of the viewer. The eyes are very, very, very Steve Ditko. They're very classic with the big black outlines and the little white areas, very much different than both Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's version, which the black frames were very, very thin in those versions, and the lenses were the biggest part. Now, while Tobey Maguire's were very stylized and very designed for the film, Andrew Garfield's were based much, much more on the Todd McFarlane designs that actually ended up being used as the designs for most of the 90s and, you know, in a lot of cases even to the present day. But now we see a real callback to the Ditko 1962 original Spider-Man. Now, another thing that you'll notice is that the spider is very, very, very small on his chest. That's the smallest it's ever been. And that includes the 1977 Spider-Man played by Nicholas Hammond. Now, some of you may not realize Tom Holland is our fourth live-action Spider-Man, if you don't count the Electric Company Spider-Man, which I don't. Yeah, this is the smallest that the symbol has ever been. And I don't know that I like that. I really don't. I like it to be big and to stand out. And this almost, you know, looks like they're trying to hide it. But again, that's very, very, very Steve Ditko. There is some texture to the blue, very similar to the texture of both Andrew Garfield's and Tobey Maguire's tights. But one thing that's caught my attention is the texture on the red. Now, it's really hard to see in the trailer, but you can get some good high-res prints, and I've got some good pictures here that you're looking at now, I think, that really show that texture. And that texture on the red looks very woven, almost like Kevlar. So I'm wondering if this Spider-Man, at least the red portions of his suit, are actually Kevlar. Or are supposed to be Kevlar. That would be very interesting. They have a very nylon look, almost very similar to Captain America's the first Avenger costume, the World War II one, which was also, again, very, very nylon. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that the design, while classic, is different, is updated. It looks like they almost tried to go with something similar to what they did in the first Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I have to say, while the first Amazing Spider-Man wasn't my favorite Spider-Man movie, I did really like that costume, and I was really disappointed in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 when they went right back to the traditional version. Another thing that you'll notice is that the web lines are not 3D. The web lines are not raised. Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire both had the raised web lines. These are very 2D, they're very flat, and if you'll notice, each line is actually comprised of 2 lines. So it's a double line. The web lines are double lines on this new costume. But yeah, back to the Amazing Spider-Man, the first one. I really liked the new direction that they went with that costume in that first movie, and I was really, really disappointed when they went right back to the classic design, the classic red and blue that we've always seen. He's also, if you noticed, he's got mechanical web shooters again, just like the Amazing Spider-Man. Now, I will say I liked the organic web shooters from the Tobey Maguire movies. I'm of the school that believes that makes a lot of sense, that he gets all these superpowers. Why wouldn't that be a superpower as well? But you know, the mechanical web shooters are from the comic, and so I can't really complain that they're being true to the comic, even though I prefer the other way that was less true to the comic. But I'm not going to complain that they went, you know, truer to the comic. I really don't want to see them go back to the classic suit, the traditional and I think boring Spider-Man suit. And not that it's a bad suit, but it's boring because we've seen it so many times. It was in all 3 Tobey Maguire movies. It was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume. It was the Nicholas Hammond costume. Yes, it is very traditional, but the Amazing Spider-Man costume and the Civil War costume are both very traditional. They have very many similarities to that traditional suit, but they do their own thing, and I like that. One thing that I do hope that Marvel will do with Spider-Man as they continue into this new cinematic world with Spider-Man, as they introduce him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and make him more of a part of the Avengers world, and using him, obviously he's going to have some more solo movies co-produced by Sony and Marvel. What I'd like to see them do is go the route with Spider-Man that you kind of went with Captain America. Give him a new costume every movie. And I've been real critical of that where Captain America is concerned, because I'm like, this is just to sell toys. There's no real reason for this. But Captain America, he has not had the rich costume history that Spider-Man has had. So I would very much like to see them, change Spider-Man's costume up a little bit every movie, and use a different established costume for him. Don't just tweak the red and the blue, you know. Kind of like what they do with Captain America. It's kind of just variations on a theme, so much that, to be honest, there's really no difference between the Age of Ultron Captain America suit and the Civil War Captain America suit. The only difference that I've seen is the removal of some of the red trim and the removal of the white on the arms. Other than that, the suits are identical. Don't do that with Spider-Man. Don't make these tiny little changes just to sell toys. I mean, if you're gonna do the costume thing, go all into it. You know, show us the Iron Spider. Show us the maybe the Scarlet Spider. Either version. I'm good with the Kane version, and I'm good with the Ben Reilly version. Show us the maybe even Miles Morales, even though Peter is not Miles Morales, and I know a lot of fanboys out there are going to throw a fit if you put Peter Parker in Miles' suit, but get over it. It's a good costume. put Peter in Miles's costume. You know, just there are all these different costumes. Even if you you know, if you can handle it, put him in the Miguel O'Hara 2099 costume. Just give us some different costumes, some variety. You can sell your toys, and the fans get something different to look at every movie. So I think that's a good idea. Now, interestingly, Screen Rant has actually done a ranking of all of the Spider-Man costumes and that have been in live action. And they've got the Toei Spider-Man on there. He's number 5. They've got Nicholas Hammond. He's number 4. They've got, you know, the traditional Tobey Maguire. Red and blue is number 3. The Amazing Spider-Man, the first Andrew Garfield suit, is number 2. And then, of course, the Marvel Cinematic Universe one is number 1. I don't know if I would put that as number 1 just because I like it. I really do like it. I think it'll look great on screen, and I hope to see more of it. But I just don't think it's that spectacular when compared to some of the other suits. You know, like I said, I'm not really sure that I like the Ditko eyes. That's another thing about these eyes, folks. Okay, I'm hearing every time I turn around, every time somebody's talking about this new Spider-Man costume, they want to compare it to Deadpool with the emoting eyes. Look, folks, not everything is a copy of Deadpool, all right? You need to really get over that. I highly doubt, you know, Deadpool was just last month. It was just February. I highly doubt that that Marvel saw Deadpool, saw how successful it was, and then pulled out Civil War and started CGI-ing Spider-Man's eyes, okay? This was like this from the beginning. It was like this way before Deadpool came out. It was always going to be like this. You know, sometimes different directors have the same ideas. And obviously, Deadpool did the emoting eyes, and Spider-Man's doing it kind of, but Spider-Man's look to be very much tech-based, like maybe some camera lenses that Stark installed or something. But just let the Deadpool thing go, okay? Not everything is a copy of Deadpool, and it's really starting to get annoying. You know, the fastest way to drive Deadpool into the ground and make people start hating what was really a decent movie is to start comparing everything to Deadpool and saying, oh, they stole that from Deadpool, and no, they're copying off of Deadpool, and oh, Deadpool has paved the way. No, Deadpool hasn't paved the way of anything. Deadpool was a fluke. I've said it before, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it a million times. It was a very good movie. It was a seriously good movie. It's not going to bring a renaissance of R-rated comic book movies, though. And if Hollywood tries to do that, they're going to fail.
All right, so as you can see, the new costume is a little bit different than what we've had before, and I think that it's got some strengths, it's got some weaknesses, but it's definitely something we haven't seen yet. So that's good. So bringing something fresh and new is always the best way to go with these movies, because superhero movies can tend to be very formulaic, very, you know, standard. I mean, that was the thing with Deadpool. In fact, I had somebody even remark in my review of Deadpool at TheBlaze that I should have had, first of all, if you read my articles, if you read my reviews on TheBlaze, you know I always put a spoiler warning, whether they're spoilers or not. And this guy commented and was like, you know, you should have put massive spoiler warning. And I'm thinking, what massive spoilers? I mean, Deadpool's a great movie. Deadpool is a really good movie, but there's nothing substantial, nothing happens in Deadpool to warrant a spoiler warning. I could sit here and tell you the exact plot of Deadpool, and you'll be like, how is that different than Spider-Man? How is that different than Daredevil? How is that different than every standard superhero movie? I mean, but what Deadpool did was Deadpool brought Deadpool to the formula. But it was still very formula. And these movies can be very formula, so it's always good when they take risks, when they do something different. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Hi everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and make sure you head on over to TheBlaze and check out my weekly column where I do movie reviews and general Hollywood industry commentary. You can find the links for all those things in the description below. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.